Mhm. And then hello. Okay. How are you doing? Post. Hey, Brandon. I feel like I always catch you before you go to bed, huh? I always start so late. Hello. Wait, let me see. Yeah, that is late. I had actually planned to do this earlier, but then I started washing and cooking, and then now we're here. Like 2 hours later than what I thought I was going to start at. Hey, Paul. uh, hmm? Sure. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 11:25. You're going to bed all right? Is it 8 o'clock in LA? Oh, my LA time is off. Is it 8 o'clock? It is 8. It's 8:25. And yeah, in NYC is 3 hours difference. So yeah. Yeah. Wait, are you working? You're going to bed early. Wait, today's Saturday. What's going on? Well, no, because church and stuff would be canceled too if you did go to church. Huh, then. Oh, well, maybe you're just tired. In any case, goody, hisashiburi. Hisashiburi. Oh my god. Oh, 3 kids. That is right. Okay, I see. You have to get your private time and then wake up when everybody else wakes up. Oh my god. It has been a long time since Searashi, huh? Oh my god. How long has it? Then again, I have been doing weekly live streams, it seems. I did say I would try to do this, but I don't really know. Yes. Is it hard to live far away from family and make friends and such? I want to move abroad someday, but I know I will have to. Oh my god. Okay. Big hit. I think one, it probably depends on skin color. Let's say the darker you are, you probably might have more difficulties than the lighter you are. But then again, also since a lot of, depending on what country you want to go to, since they're very just like Korean based or just Japanese based, depending on where you're going. I forgot what it was like xenology or something like that. I forgot the term for it. But because of that, since it's just filled with just those type of people, they're not really used to foreign people. So everything that they base their opinions off of is based off of the media. So that's why it's also a thing about, well, I guess in history, Black people go to like being slaves and stuff like that. So a lot of people still have that image in their mind. And bye, Brandon. um, still have that image in their mind. Besides that, it's also the other part of media, like Black people have guns and stuff like that, apparently, all the time. So, yeah, everybody kind of has that kind of what image in their head. Um, and just the thing about what is it? Just black not being good, white usually being better. Um, or having like lighter skin and stuff like that. So all of that plays like a part in making friends. But then there's just the thing about people just being scared of meeting foreigners too. They assume that you don't know the language or something, and that you'll never be good enough to even even if you're like super good at xenophobic. I was right. So well, I had it in my head, but then I lost it. Anyway, there's the thing of now I lost my train of thought. There's a thing of you're never going to be good enough, no matter how good you get in the language. To some people, I met people in Japan that were super fluent. Like this guy told me a story about him and his wife. Now he's been teaching Japanese. No, he was teaching English. No, he was teaching Japanese. He was teaching Japanese. He was from America. He was teaching Japanese to Japanese people because his Japanese was better than Japanese people. But he told me about this one incident to show that, because he was trying to tell us, like, no matter how, it was a white guy, actually, a white older guy, maybe in his 50s or something like that, to show us that no matter how good we get in Japanese, that will never be considered Japanese or will never be considered fluent in Japanese. So he is better than a Japanese person at Japanese because he studied it that long. But the incident was he went to a restaurant with his wife and he ordered food, but it was already irritating him is that every time the waiter came, they just kept looking at his wife, even though he was the one that was talking. And then they would answer his wife when he was the one talking. So she's looking at him like he's talking, but you're looking at me and I'm not saying anything. So I don't know if he just didn't want to really associate himself with a foreigner or whatnot, or well, I don't even know if it's a guy or not, but the waiter or waitress didn't want to associate themselves with the foreigner, so they kind of just kind of ignored him, I guess. They listened to him, but I guess they listened to him as if the wife was saying it, and then they were responding. They was responding to the wife, and I guess he started to get like mad. Hey, shedding love, and everybody else that just joined. He started to get mad, and then I guess they got his order wrong, so he got super mad, and he was kind of yelling at him, and he was telling him or the person that they got his order wrong and so forth, and that he told them like specifically what he wanted and stuff, but they kept responding to the wife again. So that was just getting him more frustrated at the fact that his wife is not saying anything, but he is saying everything. And yeah, he got he got super mad. He ended up leaving the restaurant, he told us, but it was like just a story to just show us that no matter how good you get in the language, it could not work out to the best. But then I had some times where like I would say like, well, when I was learning Japanese, right, they would always want you to like go and give somebody this huge like I just started the language or whatever, and they try to make you go and present yourself to people, and I hated doing that. My God, did I hated it. But I would do it like all the time anyway, and I had to go into this group of like what was it, like I don't know, 100 and something Japanese people, and like introduce myself in Japanese, and I was just like, oh, I was dreading it. I was like, my God. And then I said, like, what did I say? Like, I didn't know anything in Japanese really. I was just like, Hajime mashite. And it's like, ooh, and I was just like, huh? Because like honestly, it's probably like the only thing I really knew. And hello, Midori, and everybody else that just joined. It's like the only thing I knew. And they were just like, oh, and I'm just like, oh, what? And like that's kind of like as far as I can go. I was like, okay, wait, watashi wa Greg this? Like, I was, like, trying to think if I was even saying it correct, and they was just like, "Oh!" And I'm just like, "What?" You know, and they were just like, oh, I mean, I guess some of you might know this if you follow some people, and they're just like, "Joseph, Joseph." And I'm just like, "Wow, I didn't really say anything." Like, they're just telling me, like, I'm so good at the language, but I didn't really say anything. And that that was confusing to me because I was just like, "What?" Okay, like, thank you, I think, but but please don't ask me any questions because that's it, that's all I got for you, like, that's it, those 3 sentences, and I'm done, but they thought they were like, "Your Japanese is so good," and I was like, "What they say?" But, I don't know, it's weird, I guess you'll meet people that are kind of more receptive of you maybe, but that's kind of fewer to none, um and then just a ton of people that just won't accept you no matter how good you get in the language. And like I also said, also skin color or in the media and all that stuff plays a huge factor in everything. Um, yeah, it really sucks about, I mean, the skin color and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess no matter where you go, that's always going to be prevalent factor in what everybody thinks about you, no matter how good you are inside. Um, yeah. Hmm. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Family-wise, yes. I especially recently, actually, I've been doing a lot of thinking. One, it's because I came to Korea to do my to start modeling here and stuff because I joined the company and so forth. I'm not even sure how good the company will be, and so forth, which is another problem because I've already hearing bad things about it and I already signed for it. So I'm just like, but because of everything going on with the virus, I can't even get my visa because I have to come here to do the interview and so forth or whatever. And then I was supposed to leave and then come back, but I can't leave the country because of the virus and so forth. So that's an issue right now because I can't leave right now. So can't even get my new visa. So what they're doing is they're trying to, if we're here, they will extend our visitor, what? Visit, traveling visitor visa, traveling visa, like 3 months longer because they don't know how long it's gonna take. But in my head, I'm like, but how am I supposed to make money for like this amount of time being here? So I'm just like, yeah. So like that's another thing. I mean, I guess everybody assumes that you just have parents just throwing you money or something. That's what I'm assuming because you can't even go anywhere. You can't even return home. Like it's like I'm a mess right now. Um, but because of all that, I've been thinking, and because of like some of the stuff that I was saying recently, besides that, just not knowing if I'll be able to achieve the dreams that I want to achieve abroad, which is I really want to work in entertainment. And obviously, it's better to work in entertainment in the West because everybody wants to go to the West to work in entertainment. And secondly, because I mean, I wouldn't even say that racism doesn't is not still in the West or whatever, but it's still a lot better than in Asia. My God, is it? And I think I will, even for me, I would have a better chance of doing the things that I want to do if I lived back in America or even in, I don't know, somewhere in the West. Anyway, so I don't know, because of all this and because of thinking, I was like, maybe would this be my last year abroad? Because I'm thinking I'm kind of tired of a lot of stuff. I'm tired of it being so hard. Like no matter how nice of a person you can be, like everybody already has their judgment about you and so forth. And you just, I mean, I've tried to like, I don't know, show more of myself or my heart to even get that across that like not everybody's a bad person or whatever. But in contrary to all that, like the other person ends up being the bad person, and then I'm just like, dang, like it's like the 30,000th person like I've met, and it's just always bad, you know. And you don't, I don't know. For me, I didn't have to deal with that stuff back home. I didn't have to deal with trying to work hard to make friends, like they just came, you know, or even to maintain those friendships. Like, yeah, you lose friends here and there, but my God, the amount of not even we never even made it to that level of friendship because people just act pretty much stupid, to be honest. Um, I don't know. I'm just like over all that. I never had to do or deal with any of that stuff being in America. And like I said, even like the my dreams and all that stuff, and just wanted to live like an amazing life with friends and do tons of things, and just keep, I don't know, keep building on that friendship, travel abroad with them, um, do just a lot of fun and amazing things. Like the number of people I met, like in Japan and in Korea, that obviously just didn't work. You probably saw them in like one of my videos, if that, or you didn't see them at all because it didn't even last that long. Um, like it's just been so many, and I don't know, it get tiresome, like you can look at any of the people that you probably watch their vlog and stuff like that, but you probably never seen, or if you have, they probably were married to them or dating them for a time or are dating them, but like actual Japanese or Korean friend in somebody's vlog, like it's just so hard to get them that people give up. Like being honest, people just stop trying. Um, some of them go home, obviously, because they're just over it. My friends leave all the time, which is why it's even hard to keep like foreign friends because they start going home too. But yeah, it's difficult living abroad. It's easier to be back home, honestly. If you, I guess if you grew up in like a horrible environment though, like maybe not such good parents or something like that, then that makes it that much more difficult or something, But like even that, since you're accustomed to the language, since you're born in that location, I think it's still easier to try to find somebody that you can associate yourself with compared to being abroad. Like, man, I've tried so many different ways and I got tired of it, so like I just stopped. But yeah, it's just hard. Hmm. Family, but yeah, I do miss family and like the friends that I know that are my friends that I met back home. Like there's only a few that I've met abroad. Okay, like on terms of like being back home, there's only one person that I've met that's obviously um a really good friend to me, and I mean that's Charlotte, as you guys know. Um that is probably the main one that like I can say that is like really like my best friend. We talk a lot, and all that, and that's since being abroad for like how long? My God, some years, a lot of years, a lot of years. But that's pretty much it. That's the only one person I can really say is like I know will be there for me. Yeah, but besides that, compared to other people, I've tried many different ways to meet and make friends abroad. My God. Mm. So this is really coming from experience. Um, but I mean, like I said, if you watch other people's vlogs and stuff like that, you pretty much, if you thought about it, you pretty much can realize that the likelihood of you actually making good friends is pretty slim. Besides that, the people in Osaka that I met before I left, they were really good. Um, and I still talk to them a lot. Um, but yeah, like I said, everything is pretty difficult when you come abroad. Hmm. Yes, saying hi for good. I said that. Da, 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 laugh. I love. Someday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed you've been on while I was asleep. I thought it's almost 5:30. Oh my God, 5:30 a.m. Going to sleep now. Yep, I said bye to Brandon. Yes, you're just bored with a gun. What's funny? It's like I don't even like consider it a bad thing, I guess. I've asked people like especially when I lived in Japan. I never asked anybody in Korea. But when I lived in Japan, I used to ask people and they were so afraid to actually tell me, but I'm asking you. But like it's because like what I had one teacher that I was really cool with, and we went out to eat and she was trying to ask me about life in Japan, living in Japan and all that. And that for me that stuff kind of like irritates me a little bit because I'm very, very truthful. If you know me, like very truthful. I don't like lying. So But I also hate telling the truth to Japanese and Korean people because even though they say they're not gonna get mad, they always get mad. Always. Always. So I'm like, don't ask my opinion on something if you're gonna get mad. Like if you're gonna tell me like if I ask your opinion on America and you say, "Oh, I hate it" or whatever, then I'm like, "Oh, well, I mean, it's your opinion. Like I'm not gonna get mad at you about it." Like, "Oh, well, there's some stuff that I don't like about America too, or about this place or that place." So I mean, like to each their own. Everybody has their opinion on different aspects of their life in the world. So I can really like deter you from what you think about certain things and stuff like that. But like I've I don't think I've ever met anybody that I can really talk to about how it is to live abroad that was native to that country. If they were foreign, then they already that's man, foreigners together, like people from abroad. I even hate saying foreigners. People from abroad that came from abroad too. They generally have the same feeling or the same kind of things happen to them. So generally, you guys talk about that all the time, or just catch up on what new kind of drama or whatever has happened to you living abroad and stuff like that. So like that's like the main thing people from abroad talk about all the time. Um, I don't even never I guess it never got tiresome or anything like that, but like that's pretty much the thing that you guys can really relate on compared to talking to somebody that's native to the country. But everybody wants to ask you about it, and I guess they just pretty much want you to say it's good. But like um sometimes they're bad in different countries too. Like that's like you can't just assume that your country is the best or there's not going to be any problems, but I guess that's what some people think. So they would ask you about it, and then I would tell them, and then obviously that was like the last time we talked all the time. They'd be like, they would say like I'm prejudiced and I think all Japanese people or all Korean people or whatever is like that and so forth. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I'm just saying like I've met like literally more man 1,000 or more people trying to make friends with them on different applications and all that stuff. And I'm like, it always pretty much ended the same. Um, no, it always did the same. Yeah. um, and like they just, I don't know, they would just try to find a way to get mad at me and like kind of bash me for like my opinion on like it not being as I thought it would be living abroad or coming to live abroad. Um, and then those friendships like pretty much or I guess it wasn't even friendship. Like the meeting or whatever never progressed past that because they were just mad. Um, but I mean, it's just so many things like that that you can like try to like ask or ask somebody if you ever come abroad or something like that, or try to find your way into the culture. And I wouldn't say that everybody's like that. There's like a few nice people. I guess sometimes a lot of those people are those that want to live in America because they're probably facing the same thing or they've been to America and they just are not I won't say just America, but they've been to the West and loved the aspect of the people in the West and how they treat others and stuff. So then those people tend to be the easiest for people to become friends with, and that's just because they actually like they have a big interest in the West and how people treat each other in the West, um, which is why you can probably become friends with them easier than somebody who is just doesn't really, I guess, never been to the West probably, or was it or somebody that's patriotic, somebody who is just super for their country, which is a lot of people that you probably will meet if you come abroad. Oh yeah, but the born with a gun, yeah. I didn't even finish that, huh? I asked because she asked me actually, the teacher that I went, and I asked her because I was like thinking about I always think about stuff. And I asked her, I was like, when you see me, was it like hard for you to want to talk to me? Me being the new teacher at your school. And she said, well, yeah, because, like because of the media and all that. And I was like what? Like, like what in the media? Like, what are you thinking? It's just like, well, like I didn't want to ask you this, but I do kind of want to know. But she's like, do you have a gun? And I'm like, why would I have a gun? And she's like, oh, well, in the media, they always like, and in movies, black people always have a gun. And I'm just like, oh God. I'm like, no, I don't have a gun. I was like, honestly, I've never even seen a gun before. She's like, oh, really? And I'm just like, yes, really. And then she was like, let's try to ask one of the waiters. And I'm like, we can't ask a waiter like this guy's gonna come over here and he's gonna say, yeah, I thought you had a gun too. Like, no, because then he's gonna think I'm not gonna buy from him. So we did ask the waiter. She was dumb. She was like, okay, we're gonna ask him. And then he came over and she asked him, and she's like, what do you think when you see him? And then he got like he started turning red because like nobody wants to answer that question. And he's like, he's so handsome. And I was just like, I was like, that's what you got out. Shaking like that. I was like, I know what you want to say. And she's like, do you think would you say or would you think that he carries a gun? And then he's like, oh, he was like, no. He was like, no, I didn't think that. And I'm like, oh God. Oh God. First I was like, pretty like, wow, why is she gonna ask him that? And she really asked him, and he didn't want to answer the question. But obviously, that's because he thought I would probably stop buying and probably leave if he said, "Yeah, I thought he carried a gun." And then after that, then she's like, "Let's just ask the other waitress." I'm like, "Oh God." She did ask the other lady, and she got flustered too. She's like, "Oh no, no, I wouldn't think that at all." I'm like, "Oh God." It's just they don't want to answer truthfully because yeah, they'll probably lose my service, I guess, if they said I had a gun, even though we were talking about me having a gun, I guess, or whatever. But like I don't know. Everybody just has their what they envision, or what they've seen on TV and so forth. So that's usually what they lead with. But she told me like after getting to know you and seeing like how nice you are, like you don't seem like that type of person at all. I'm like, well, thank you. No, I guess I'm not like one of the black people you saw on like I don't know, some kind of movie or whatever you saw. But yeah, generally that's what everybody leads by or whatever, which is generally skin color. So depending on your skin color, you generally probably have problems. Then besides that, it's could be based on your nationality too, because if you lived in Asia, my God, or I mean, maybe even being back home, there's always this big thing about different Asian groups not liking each other, which is like China not liking Korea, which doesn't like Japan and all that stuff. So like that's like a huge issue when going to different places because like if you are one of those people and you go to the other country too, because of history, a lot of people will like probably kind of bash you about it, and stuff like that. So that's a very huge thing too. Not as big as obviously being black, I would say, but it's still like a big thing because the wars and all that stuff, and nobody's ever getting past the wars. Um, so that's a question that people have asked me because I study like Japanese and Korean or whatever. People will ask me like, "Oh, well, you lived in like Korea." And she's, "How was it in Korea?" Like they were like this, huh? And I'm just um, uh, I'm like, I thought we were like learning English together. Like, what is this? But like a lot of the kind of like those kind of topics would come up because I studied both languages or whatever, or even when I didn't study Korean at first and I went to Japan, like the older people that I taught, they were always wanting to talk about something that happened and like some kind of political things that were going on. And then usually it led to like China and like Korea and like the past wars or like well, like it was there was also during that time, I think it was like the time of like the island in, I don't know if it's Korea or Japan. I wouldn't even want to touch that topic because I don't know. But like that, like an area, and like it was just always something about hating each other, and I was just like, wow, like. And then you're asking me, like I know, like I'm not Japanese, I'm not Korean, and I mean, like I wouldn't even base like all of that, like my hatred toward somebody based off of, I don't know, some like things that happened a long time ago, because like that's hard. Like I don't know, that's the hugest topic ever. It's just like religion and stuff like that. Everybody is born into a certain religion, pretty much depending on like their parents. Like, and during that time, people were born into the war because they followed that person into it. Like that's a lot of different things that I know you shouldn't like even touch, because it's just such a difficult thing to actually like think about and to talk about. So like I can't really say somebody is bad because of the war thing, because like I mean I wasn't even around during the war, and like and stuff like that. There's just stuff that I can't really talk about, but they would want to know my opinion, but it was more because they wanted me to be on their side about it. Um, and of course, I feel bad for the people that like died and stuff in the war. Like obviously, I don't like war and stuff like that. I wouldn't want people to just go to their death for like somebody who's obviously not going to even go to the war themselves. You know, this is not like old times where the king is like out there too, even though he probably was still somewhere in the back. But like even stuff like that, like it's just stuff that I wouldn't really want to touch on, but like that's a thing that people have asked me a lot too. So I do know like also your nationality and or what ethnicity, I guess maybe that's better to say, because you could be like an Asian American or a Korean American or a Japanese American too, or something like that. But that also plays a part in if people will accept you or not abroad. Da, 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 da. Xenophobic. Yep, that sounds rough, but thank you for the insight. So, was the dude fired? The dude was not fired. Nobody is ever fired for that. No, it's not America. You can't. Yeah, people don't just get fired for like anything. Like I don't know. Even if you presented that to them, like I don't think the manager would even say anything about it. Like that's, I guess that's certain things you actually miss when you come abroad too. Is there's not that what is it? That thing where like, okay, say for instance, like when somebody messes up your order, if they mess up your order, generally in America, I don't know about other Western countries. Let me just say Los Angeles. Well, no, I would say just America. Like generally, you would get all that free, and then they'll give you I mean, because you already touched it or whatever, and when you went through the bag, um, or whatever, or even when it was just in front of you, you probably breathed on it or something. So they're not going to take the food back. They'll just like leave it there, and then they'll get you a new order. Maybe they'll be mad, I don't know, but I mean, all that's like beside the point. Um, but you'll get that for free, and then they'll give you the new one. That will never happen in like Japan, especially. That's never happened. Has anybody ever messed up my order in Korea? Yes, actually, no. Somebody did mess up my order in Korea one time, and it was like just a soda. Actually, I was like, I didn't order the soda, and it was like, oh, well, we only give one soda, and I'm like, but I didn't order this. And I'm like, but you can only get one soda. We are not allowed to give refills. I'm like, this is not a refill because I didn't order this. Like, come on, follow me. And she's like, well, I can't give you another one because it's already been made. I'm like, well, then I don't want it. And she's like, what? I was like, I don't want it. So I like left it there and I just left. And then she just like looked at me and then she like looked at the cup and she just like left the cup there. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But that kind of service, you won't get that in America. So like I don't know, that there's certain things that you probably miss if you've lived in like I don't know overseas. If you lived overseas and you came to like Japan and Korea, like you'll notice the huge difference. Yeah, you don't have to pay tip though. If people hate the tipping culture, that is not anything that's like prevalent in Japan or Korea. So, usually you just leave. I don't even know what would happen if you tip them. Well, I think they would probably just get run and be like, "Oh, like you forgot your money or something," try to give it to you. There's no, yeah, the tipping culture that doesn't exist. So like you learn some of the things that exist and don't exist, and a lot of the stuff will probably be new to you because you never lived in that country. Um, but it is hard to really adjust. I think I said this last time, but the easiest way to adjust kind of is to get married or have a boyfriend and girlfriend, but then you're pretty much depending on them for like your kind of relation, dependent on them for like everything when it comes to like relationship wise, probably living abroad because like that's the only person you could probably rely on unless that, goes bad. Because heard a lot of cases about stuff like that too. So yeah, there's just so much. But like if you really want to live abroad, I guess I did the same thing. You should really do a lot of like research on where you want to go. And I guess I would assume that you guys probably follow a lot of other vloggers. And I don't know if other vloggers really would talk about this stuff anyway, but I would try to figure out the place that you want to go and honestly probably do research on it to see if it would fit with you or mold with you well. Obviously, that has to go with like race and probably ethnicity too, because nobody really wants to go abroad and face any of those kind of adversities and stuff like that. So that's some stuff I would probably look into if I was planning to move abroad. I actually looked into that. Coming abroad to Korea mostly. Japan, I didn't really look into being black coming to Japan. I think going to Japan, I just already had the like really wanting to go to Japan. So like I knew that I want to go, but like I never really heard anything bad about it. The only thing that my Japanese friends told me before I went to Japan, which were the ones that I met here, and that yeah, they just told me that it'll be how easy it is for me to talk to them right now is going to be like that much worse when I went to Japan. He was like, it's going to be hard for you to make friends in Japan. I was like, really? Because like it was like easy to kind of talk to them. And he was like, Japan's different. He was like, even for us Japanese people, and he said when we go back home, like we'll realize that things are not the same. It's not like America. We don't have house parties in Japan. We don't do all this stuff. So they kind of go back into Japanese mode. So even them, like the friends that you generally meet abroad, even some of them change. So all the people that I met at my university, I didn't even get to talk to them. I talked to them one time, maybe one of them. He invited me to to come eat out with him, but the thing was I had just arrived in Japan. I didn't know anything about Japan. I didn't even know Japanese. So I was just like, I can't get all the way to like where you want me to be. It was some part of Tokyo that I've never. I was like living outside of Tokyo, like right outside of Tokyo, but I didn't know how to do the train system or nothing. Like I was like, I can't make it, and he got mad at me for that because I couldn't make it. But I was like literally, I don't know how I would get there. Like, and then if I got lost, like who's gonna like find me or something? Like I didn't even have a phone. Like I was like, there's no possible way that I was gonna be able to make it. But after that, he never talked to me. But any of the other people that like I literally like carried around to like different parts of like America. Well, America, I guess, because I took some to like to the Grand Canyon. Like I did the huge drive by myself. It was like 13 hours and something. Well, the part that we went to or whatever. But like all that stuff, we took them around to a lot of different places. Six Flags, we went Six Flags. We did SeaWorld. We went to a lot of different places. Every time they needed something, we were always there to like help them. But none of that was really returned. Pretty much when I went to Japan, respectively when I came to Korea. Then again, when I came to Korea, I didn't really announce that I was in Korea, but I assumed that it was gonna pretty much be the same. Maybe that's just for me assuming that I probably should have said something, but only one friend that I knew from back then, which was almost 8 years ago, have I met, yeah, while being in Korea. But yeah, it's really difficult living abroad. I think at certain points in your life, like a lot of people that probably went home or stayed abroad, you just have to choose if you plan to keep living abroad or if you want to go home. Um, and if it's like if it's worth it, or if you achieve the kind of dreams that you want to achieve, um, that's a big factor. I think a lot of people base everything off of like liking certain things, liking anime or liking manga or liking K-pop or something like that, which is generally the reason why people want to come abroad. If you can maintain that kind of same hype for the things that you loved about the culture when you go there, um, even though you might come into contact with a lot of things that you probably don't really like about the culture too, then like you'll probably live there for a long time. Um, but others they just tend to go back home after some time, even after years or something like that. Um, but yeah, and then I guess there's also the people that you assume are happy, but they're not really happy. Because that's how one of the people that I met was happy living here. She had like a boyfriend and everything, and then there was like a post like, "Oh, I'm going back home," and I was just like, "Oh," because she told me she's been there for some time, and I was like, "Okay." And then like she got back home, she's like, "Oh, I'm finally like I'm glad that I'm finally at home." Like it was just such a nightmare living around. I was just like, "What?" Like I didn't know it was that bad for her. Like I thought it was like I thought it was better because she kind of had a life here to me. Like if you have a boyfriend and stuff like that, you have a life. But I don't know, maybe they're not together anymore. I mean, there's so much that I don't really know. But I don't know. I assume when you're trying to date, when you're dating somebody, or if you have a significant other, then maybe you're trying to make a life in that place. So yeah, but I mean that's probably why you shouldn't assume. I guess that people are happier or something like that. But I mean, we talked about some stuff, but I didn't know it was that bad. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. How long did it take you to learn Japanese? Oh my God, learn Japanese. Ugh. So, language learning to me, like I don't know, recently been looking up stuff about language learning and how it is to learn language because a lot of people talk about how kids learn languages or babies, babies like you're just talking to them and then eventually they can kind of form sentences, mama, papa or whatever. And then from that, like just listening to you, they just further that and then I mean, obviously sometimes the sentences are not as good, but they can just try to form sentences off of what they heard, and that's kind of amazing because it's just like wow, like we have to when we're older we have to like go to school to try to learn these and like nobody ever really learns a language being in school. Like it's always pushed to the back, like because you probably have like math class and your own like your native language classes and stuff like that. Like it's difficult to like keep up with trying to learn a foreign language when you're in school unless you actually study abroad or something or become an exchange student because you have to. You're immersed in the kind of environment, so you kind of have to. But I've been studying. I'm like actually studying. I guess I went to school for like one year, 1.5 years for learning Japanese. I did um only 1.5 years I actually studied Japanese. I started this new application for learning kanji. What? How long ago? 6 months? Huh? About 6 months ago, maybe. Um, I think it's about 6 months ago. But Japanese, if you want to learn everything, it takes a long time, especially if you want to learn kanji because that's just like it's a whole nother beast in its own, and that I mean, Japanese people study, well, they study Japanese and English for like a long time, and they still can't speak English. But Japanese, they don't know all the kanji. They can't write all the kanji. So even that, I mean, they kind of fell at that part or that aspect of the Japanese language. So if you don't really care about kanji, um, to me, then everything is pretty much based off of having somebody you can actually talk to. It, yeah, kind of like a baby. If you have somebody that you can constantly talk to, um, and you're just actively using the language, then you'll get better. But if you don't have somebody who you can talk to, then it becomes an issue because you're studying, but you're not really using it. And like that's the thing for me. Like I had a few things that I thought about when coming here, and one is that when coming abroad, and the only reason why I came abroad, because I didn't really, I mean, I liked, the one reason why I did like going to Japan is because I did like Japanese visual kei, but it wasn't the main thing that was on my mind. The main thing that's on my mind, or my dreams, was to learn 7 languages. I don't even know why I have two. That should be 7 languages. Probably because I'm resting my hand, I guess. But I want to learn 7 languages. So the main focus was to learn languages, which is the reason why I came abroad. Um, and like for me, my thinking on it is, if you're not really using the language, then you never get good at it. Um, like there's tons of people who can actually take a test, maybe, but when it comes to talking, like they can't talk at all, or they can't even understand when you're saying stuff. So to me, it's, if you don't have somebody to actively talk to, then your language ability won't go up. And that's the other thing. Like me being abroad, that's the reason why I tried so hard to try to make friends too, is because I really want to be able to use the language a lot more. Um, I think the most I've used the Japanese language is when I was in Osaka. Yeah, when recently, that was the most I've ever used the Japanese language, because nobody knew English. And the ones that I met some good people in Osaka, compared to when I lived in Tokyo. All the teachers were like scared to like talk to me. So I didn't really talk to them at all. I did talk to my vice principals and principals sometimes too. But there is also the thing of my Japanese improved more when I went to improved more while I was in Osaka than it was in when I was in Tokyo too. But I was able to talk a lot more, and it grew a lot more. But if you're not really using the language, then I think that's where it becomes an issue. But like I said, going abroad and not even being able to make those connections is still an issue. If you have somebody good, or that you know well, that you can talk to, then I think your language ability will improve. But if you don't, then it won't really improve at all. Um, I want to study abroad, and I'm looking at Korean universities. I think you went to Sogang. I went to Sogang. Sogang. The first quarter of Sogang was amazing to me. It was so fun. My teachers kept trying to build on our language ability. So I really like that. Like, whenever you go places, I feel like it's always like textbook based. So whatever is in the textbook, that's pretty much what you go over. So we were repeating the same things over and over again. But my first quarter, I don't know, maybe we were lucky with the group of teachers we had, but she always tried to add extra stuff into the classroom, and she would always try to tell us extra things, and just trying to expand on the basics that was in the book, and I really liked that. But then my second quarter of Sogon, my teachers never did that. So we was pretty much only repeating what was in the book, and that annoyed me to the max, because I feel like I wasn't getting no additional information. So my first quarter at Sogang was good. My second quarter at Sogang, I didn't really care for it. I was also doing KIP classes, which is the government classes. So a lot of the stuff at the time was pretty repetitive to me at times, something that I already studied. So that's also probably why I like um, the first quarter too better, because she was expanding on stuff that was in the book, so I was getting new information or whatever. And I was also teaching the class at times because I was like, "Oh, I learned this already," and I would say something, and they'd be like, "Ooh," and they'd be like, and I don't know, I just like that too. But the second quarter, um, the teachers were different, and I was just like, "It's just like a different kind of like setup from like first." Because the first quarter, because I was like, they taught us so much more that was outside of the book, and we didn't just repeat the stories. Um, but I guess that also depends on teachers. So I don't, maybe no matter what school you go, it depends on like the teachers. If the teachers are the type of teachers that you like, their study methods, their study methods, their teaching methods. If their teaching methods are the kind that you like, then you'll improve or you'll like it a lot. Like you'll have a good experience. But if it's not, then you won't. Because I also had a friend that came to Korea. No, don't know what school she came to, but she's also have Korean, but she was coming to further her language abilities in Korean, even though she's half Korean. But the school she went to, the university she went to, she hated it. She actually like left it. She she dropped out. She was like, she hated it. So it just depends on if the school, and also besides the school, if the teachers actually have the teaching methods that you like, because all schools here in Korea are different. I went to Sogang because they have one more extra hour of talking than other universities. That's why I chose Sogang over other universities. The first, like I said, the first quarter was amazing because I felt like we used every hour. There was like 4 hours or something that we went to school, and instead of 2 hours, I felt like every hour we were always talking, except for the writing hour, where we probably talked only 30 minutes of that hour or something. But that was like man, the first quarter was like the best time. But the second quarter, I felt like we were talking less. We were doing more writing, and then everything was just like repetitive. And yeah, the second quarter I didn't really care for. So you just, I can't. That's hard because, like I said, it depends on the teachers as well. So even if you choose the right school that you like, the teachers might not be the best fit for you too. Also, fighting for your dreams. Please stay strong and take care of yourself. It sounds like the discrimination is hitting you hard. No, it's not like I don't really care about it, I guess, too much anymore. At first it was. It's something tiresome to have to deal with stuff like that. But honestly, for me, I just have a lot of dreams. There's so many things I want to do. Like I want to travel the world. I want to do a lot of stuff with friends. Like I think that's the main reason why I really want to make good friends. Is there's a lot of things I want to do with them, which is like travel the world. I don't know, taking pictures, just doing trips and just enjoying life. My main focus in my life is to enjoy my life because I feel like we only get one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we get more if we I don't know, come back as somebody else's baby or something. I don't know. But like, just right here, like we only have one life. So I want to live it the best I can, which is also the thing why I always try to, I don't know, make good friends because like how I also seems like I never know if I'll come back to Korea. I don't know if I ever go back to Japan or whatever, but like it'd be nice to have, or I mean, any other part of the world. Hello, Jana, I want to say, and everybody else that came and left and came. But I want to. I don't know. I want to live it the best I can, and And hello, Yanni. And the only way to live it the best that I can is, I don't know, to be surrounded by just amazing people for me. And when I'm not surrounded by amazing people, or when I'm meeting a lot of not so good people, then it kind of it kind of like sets me back because I feel like that I'm not achieving some of the dreams that I want. The main reason, like I said, I came abroad was to learn languages. So like if I'm not really learning the languages, then like what's the point? Because I mean, all of the studying that I do is on my own. I study Japanese to I would say 2 hours a day, but I study it more than 2 hours a day. And then I also study Korean, and I study Korean usually 2 hours a day, but then I also watch like 2 hours of dramas for like listening purposes, because they're all repetitive pretty much. And I could probably read the storyline to any drama that's Korean and know how it's going to end and all that stuff anyway. So yeah, there's that. But I spend like a majority of my time right now just studying the languages. But like I said, like if for me, if I'm gonna be basically doing all of that while just living in Korea, there's or living in Japan, there's no really like any good point to actually living here. Um, like if I'm not gonna be able to make the type of friendships that I want here, if I'm not gonna be able to achieve the level of fluency that I want while living here, then like what's the point? Um, so that's where I'm like I've arrived at. I think if I had more of an attachment to something that's not just the language, and then maybe it would be easier for me to just stay here. But since my main goal is just to learn languages, that makes it a little bit difficult. But yeah, yeah, you can. I mean, anybody would get tired of like discrimination or racism or something like that. But at the same time, like if it's not gonna be helpful to my dreams, then like what's the point of even like keeping to or the point of just staying, is what I've arrived at after thinking for like I've been thinking for some time, but over this past week I've been thinking about it a lot more. Mm, would you want to live in a different city besides Seoul in Korea? I have only lived in Seoul. I thought about living in Busan, but since my main goal is still working in entertainment, the best would be to live in Seoul, which is the reason why I choose the locations that I choose is because of entertainment purposes. If I want to do that type of stuff, then I have to be in the main cities, which I thought I would be able to do in Osaka because Osaka is considered the main city, but Osaka had nothing. They said you have to go to Tokyo. I'm like, oh, then I really screwed up with my last destination in Japan. I should have went to Tokyo, but I did. I was able to do just the one gig with Atha, and they took really nice pictures, and that was pretty fun. So I did get to do that. So I guess Osaka wasn't a bust, and I did meet a few good friends. So yeah, but I choose all my locations based off of if I'll be able to do anything modeling, acting, singing, dancing related. So that's how I base my destinations. For me, for if you're living abroad in Korea, generally the jobs or in Japan, the one the most common job would be teaching English. Um, Korea a lot harder to get into teaching English, but if you go to any other place, that's pretty much what you would do. Would be teaching English, I guess. And it's very easy to kind of teach English in some far out places in Korea compared to in Seoul. It's a lot harder to teach English in Seoul if you're not already living in Korea because they give the jobs to people that's already living in Korea for those that want to work in Seoul. Not sure why, but that's just how they do it. So yeah, if I went outside, then even if I want to do the type of work I want to do, I would have to come back to Seoul, which would kind of make no sense, and I probably wouldn't be able to make gigs and stuff like that. So it wouldn't work out for me. But if you like teaching or something, then there's tons. Well, I wouldn't say tons because I said it's a hard process getting here, but it's easier in Japan, a lot easier. Korea's a lot harder, but it's a lot then I mean it's kind of easier to come abroad if you're just here to just teach English, especially if you want to teach it in some kind of what, some kind of countryside that nobody that is probably like 10 people, or you're probably like the only person from abroad there, then yeah, you'll probably get to that. You'll probably get something like that fairly quickly compared to a place in Seoul or in Tokyo or something like that. It's hard making friends overseas. It sure is. That sounds really hard. Hey, Greg from GA, Georgia. Wow. I don't know anything about America either. And I didn't. Did I say hi to Kelly? Hello, Kelly. If I didn't, yeah, that's one thing that's annoying to me. In my experience, it's really hard for people who are from multicultural countries to accept people who are different to them. That is very, very, very true. Um, and I think I miss that. I miss being surrounded by a lot of different cultures too. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind, but if more people were open here, but yeah, it's not as open as it is back home, and I miss, I don't know, all the, yeah, yeah, being, I guess, brought up in a melting pot or whatever is totally better than being brought up in a country that just has one type of race or one type of ethnicity, because you know nothing about the world, and at that point, as you grow up, you don't really care to learn anything else about the world. You just have the things that you already think about certain people and certain things, and then you just run with that. Your mind is not really open to other possibilities. Oh my god, this gun story is crazy. Tokyo Takashima, Langkor rocks. Crocodiles are not real. I was able to Chinese can be sold to Florida for profit. Japan, Korea, metro. Has Japan, Korea met your expectations? No, it hasn't. No, my expectation was to learn the language, and honestly, if you were able to meet people a lot easier, and if people were really open to making friends, I guess, or making friends and stuff, and really exchanging their culture, then I would have been fluent in like the language in Japanese and Korean a long time ago. My language does grow. People tell me all the time, like, yeah, but I just know that it could be that much more if I was actually using it a lot more. So no, it hasn't. Oh, and I've been in these countries for like over 2-3 years each. So yeah, that's interesting. Expectation. I think kanji is easy for me. I don't know why. Kanji. There's just so many. Right? Like there's a lot. Like I know a lot of kanji compared to a lot of other people from abroad that don't know kanji. I know a lot of kanji. Um, but there's a lot of kanji. There's it's like 2000 and something, and that's just the kanji. That's like not even all the different variations that they make when you put them together. Like there's a lot that you have to study. It really takes years to learn. It actually takes like 12 years or something, and that's like devoting yourself to actually putting hours a day into learning it, as one of my teachers said. But if you're not really doing that, you'll never be fluent at kanji. For me, that's entering. Because the easiest for me is understanding. Best way to learn is by observing people talk. Yeah, but if you can't really meet people, then how do you observe them talk? Which is still kind of the same thing what I was talking about. I like talking to people to improve my language ability, but if you can't really talk to them, then what do you do? These apps like Hello Talk is a good way to learn from actual people every day. I hated Hello Talk. My God, how does Hello Talk even work? I don't even know how Hello Talk works. I tried Hello Talk and it didn't seem like it really worked for me. Like, what do? You just post stuff every day, and do people actually correct it? Do you make friends off of that? Like, what is the process to Hello Talk? because I had it for some time, but like it didn't seem like it was really working. I did start doing some posts, hoping that people would actually correct it. This is some time ago, and a long time ago actually. And then people would just like it, and I'm like, what? Why would you just like it? Like, I, I'm I'm posting it so you can what is it, correct it or something, but they would just like it. I'm like, well, like my language ability is never gonna grow. So I got tired of Hello Talk too. Greg, wow, you're good at Japanese, or your Korean is good now, right? Like, my Korean is okay, I guess. I don't know. Put me on some Korean anime. I just watched my first anime episode. Now I'm like, what, Korean anime? Oh no. Uh, I've never watched Korean anime. I don't even know how it is. I've seen some Korean manga books before, but I feel like Japan still excels past everybody when it comes to anime. Do you plan on leaving? Yana, congratulations. What is the anime? I wish to teach them. Oh, you want to teach? Well, if you really love teaching, then I think it would be. Yeah, if you really love teaching, then it'd be okay. But I guess if you experience like some bad things with teaching, then I don't know. Um, but if that doesn't really bother you, then yeah, then I think it's a lot easier. You don't really in Japan for sure. You don't have to have a teaching certificate. In Korea, if you have a teaching certificate, it helps, but it's not. You don't have to have one. You don't have to have one. Yeah, but it helps you to have one here. In Japan, they didn't really care if you had a teacher certificate. Not a teacher certificate. I'm sorry, a TEFL, whatever, whichever certificate that was. Um, mm. Can you teach English without knowing that much Japanese? You actually, since you can't use Japanese in the classroom, you can yeah. You don't have to know any Japanese at all. The only thing is, since the teachers don't really know English, it's hard to communicate with the teachers. But generally, your company, they probably do everything for you anyway. Unless you have the company that I just recently had, which they didn't really know. They didn't really do much for me in terms of like what was it? What was that? What training and so forth. All of that was based off of training that I already had. So that was kind of an issue because they didn't really have training. So the people who did not know how to teach, they were just like, okay, what do I do? But no matter where you go, usually you're supposed to only speak in English. So that's in Japan and Korea. So it doesn't matter how good your language abilities are in Japanese and Korean if you're just coming here to teach English. If you don't want to teach English and you want to do a different job, then you have to learn the language of that specific region that you're in. So Japanese or Korean or whatever. Obviously, I guess like same thing if you went to America. If you don't know English, they do want you to learn English. So I would think of it the same way. If you go anywhere else abroad, they really want you to learn the English. Learn the language, especially if you plan to do something that's not teaching related. Naruto, but I forgot he's talking about traveling abroad. I don't want to get off topic. No, wait. Have a good night. Man, how did you? How'd you gonna say Korean anime and then say Naruto? She meant Japanese anime. Oh no. Naruto is a good anime. She did say Korean anime, right? Did I mess up? Yeah, she did. No, okay. My friend went to teach outside of Seoul and got pretty sweet gig in apartment. Yeah, oh my god. The apartments are probably bigger if you go outside of Seoul. Yes, that's for sure. Nobody ever wants to go outside of Seoul. That's another reason why. Um, but generally, all jobs pretty much offer the same thing in Korea. They offer you like a plane ticket to and maybe from Korea or just to Korea. Sometimes they don't at all, but generally they do a to or a to and from Korea. Um, a salary is probably like from 2,100 to about 2,300, and then they pay for your apartment or they give you a stipend for apartment, which is like $500 to $600 generally. The only thing is if they give you the stipend, then you have to have the down payment, the pojangum. If you don't have that, which is like $10,000, 5,000, generally $10,000, then you can't even get an apartment to begin with. So it's best not to take the stipend. It's best to just get the apartment from them. Sometimes the apartments could be not as good. If you saw like my first apartment when I lived in, well, I lived right outside of Seoul, but that one, the people were kind of nice though. The old man, old lady, they were really nice. But they were just not good at actually fixing up issues that would arise, which was like my mold issue at the time and stuff like that. They weren't really too good with that. They would just, the mold was pretty funny because they would just tap some more like wallpaper over the mold, just like I'm just like, is that what does that do? Like, isn't the mold still there? You just covered it up. Won't it just like come out the sides or something? But besides that, they were nice. They just were such good like property owners. But I think yeah, if you really want to come and teach, if you're really coming to just teach, then probably living outside of Seoul or just taking any job that they would give you would be okay. But then I guess if you like I don't know, well, it's hard to get into like some kind of K-pop concert anyway. But if you have some kind of like K-pop love or something, then I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't even know if you'll be able to make it into a K-pop concert. Anyway, here. But coming to Seoul may be a little difficult. You may be able to schedule like every once in a while, depending on how far you live away from it. But coming fairly often would probably not to be something you'd be able to do if coming to Seoul or visiting Seoul is one of your things. But if you don't really care for that and you just care about teaching, then yeah, just come anywhere. One Piece, the younger, following Korea, one more, but the younger, the younger folk, the younger Korean folk want to know more, but the older Korean folk don't. I wouldn't say that is true. The younger people can be the same. I mean, you're taught everything about by your ancestors, right? So like you come up with the same thing. Um, the thing I learned about Korea and about everything while the stigma still stays in Korea about the Japanese war and all that stuff is because when they go to the army, that's what they're being told is from like their older superiors what happened to them and stuff like that. And so with that, I mean, even that, I think that's even based off the North Korea thing too. So they're told all of that stuff when they go to when they go to the army. So that's usually how their mind changes. Besides that, like, I mean, if you heard my story about the what is it, the kid that well, he was it was we're supposed to be talking about different dance like choreography, and we're talking about like how BTS used like the African dance and what was that, Idol or something? I don't even remember. Uh, but we were talking about that, and then he was just like, "No," he was like, "That's not it, like a African dance." I'm like, "No, no, it actually is." And he's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "No, yes, it is." And he's like, "Well, if anything, then it's a Korean dance now." I'm like, "Why would it be a Korean dance now?" He's like, "Because BTS made it popular, not African people." I was like, "Oh, jeez." And he's younger, so like I'm just saying, I think the thing is people assume that maybe younger people are just stupid or something, but they really take off after like their what their grandpas, grandmothers, moms, dads. Like you learn everything. Like kind of like I was saying about being born into religion, being born into like following, like a ruler that's like not a good person. Like all that stuff is something that you're being taught or fed. So if you don't really have a mind for yourself, then you're just gonna follow what's being told to you. And yeah, younger people are not that different, honestly. Because if they were, then it'd be easier for me to actually meet people here. Um, Hiragana and katakana is similar and easy to learn. Hiragana is a lot easier than katakana. Katakana, you rarely use that. Oh, and Japanese people don't use it correctly because they already have their way of saying things. So when you try to spell it how you would think that it should be said, like they're like, what is that? And you're like, this is Disneyland. They're like, no, it's not. This is Disneyland. You're just like, that's not Disneyland. But katakana was ridiculous. Hiragana is okay though. Yes, they are easy to learn. Not sure I use tandem. It's easy. There are two different hello talks. Huh? You can make two different hello talks. How are there two? They made a new one? What's going on? Maybe, not sure. Maybe there's nothing wrong. I had this Japanese guy who kept flirting with me, so I stopped using it for a while. Well, that's funny, but like everything, what is it? What's the thing? Every application is used as a dating site, and I think Hello Talk is used to find people that live abroad because it's an app for talking to people who want to learn the language. So usually they're probably trying to find somebody that knows English or something like that. And I mean, I guess over time, if it's not really language based, which a lot of things aren't, it's probably because they like you, or trying to, I don't know, get them that what do people say? They like, get that passport or whatever. Japanese is best. Oh jeez. Oh. China anime is good. I love how they use LGBT more openly in their animes. Oh really? I never seen any Chinese. I didn't even know Chinese had anime too. Oh god, I don't know anything. I mean, I don't even watch Japanese anime because I spend most of my time really studying than anything. I'm currently in school for teaching. Yes. I remember. How did you end up teaching in the first? I came abroad. And then what was it? I used to always do some kind of teaching things to my friends and stuff like that. And then when I came abroad to Japan the first time, my teacher would always ask me to go to different elementary schools and high schools and teach. So I've been teaching for the longest time. My God, like I don't know, like 10 years or something like that. Because it started in college. But I've been teaching for a long time. And then I just actually became an actual teacher, I guess. If well, paid paid teacher, I guess, for about 4 years now or something like that. But I don't know. I didn't mind because I thought I really want to learn different languages, so why not try to give back to people who want to learn the languages? But then I started to hate it because nobody really cares to learn the language in school. They they're I could just say that a majority of people that I taught didn't really care for learning the language. And there was just a select few that did. And for me, I thought like it was just best if the people that did want to learn English stayed in class, and those that didn't really care to learn English just leave, because I felt like there's no way for me to like help them get better at English, the ones that were already like good or really liked English, because I had to focus on everybody else. And majority of times that's focusing on the people who don't really care for the language because they're just like not even trying. So you have to spend majority of your time trying to get them to say different things better, to get them to the level as everybody else in the class, because that's, you have to be fair about it. But it was hard because the people that were good at it, they were done in like 2 seconds, and they're just like, what's next? And you can't move on to what's next because you have 27 other people besides the 3 that were good that just don't understand what you're saying. And you're trying your best to explain it. So like the for me, the teaching English in Japan, it had one of the worst systems ever, which is probably why Japanese people don't really know English. Besides not really trying at times too, but because nobody was really trying, it was like Japanese people go through 12 years of English and they come out the other end like not being able to say anything. And there's just so many different things that I could do to improve Japanese people learn English, and so many generations would be a lot better at English compared to the ones that are out there right now. But I guess I just want to give back. A lot of people use it as their way to come abroad for a year to get away from like America or whatever, because they want to take a year off of school or something like that. I met a lot of people that did that. I met some people who came for like 2 weeks and ran back home or something. There's a lot of different people that come abroad. But majority of the time, the people that do come abroad, it's not really for teaching. They have the teaching job, yeah, but they don't really care to teach. They just did it because it was their way abroad. And it's the easy way abroad. Well, in Asia, I guess. So you make your own lessons plan. We can use our own LMS too for teaching. And depending on the schools, you can make a lesson plan, but not all schools you have to. Majority of the time, then they also give you your lesson plans, or like it's like already situated. So you just have to like learn the lesson plan that's already supposed to be given, and then just implement that lesson plan over however many hours or whatever you're in that classroom. So the just I guess like probably I don't know about America actually because I never taught in America or anything like that. But here teaching English, it just depends on what school and if they ask you to make your own lesson plans or not. I just realized I spelled different wrong. The dude named Mason, Filipino Canadian, has become big on TikTok, and one of his kids, he says bye bye, and all the Japanese teachers and students got mad because bye bye is Japanese. The dude named Mason, the Filipino Canadian, has become big on TikTok, and one of his kids, he says bye bye, and all of the Japanese teachers and students got mad because bye bye is Japanese. Wait, what? I don't understand, Araji. What? The dude has become big in TikTok, the one, and his kids, and he says bye bye. And all the Japanese teachers and students got mad because bye bye is Japanese. Japanese teachers and students got mad. Hey, I don't understand. Oh, yep, I am. But I feel like nobody follows me, huh? You're back in Korea. I thought you were in Japan. Yeah. Oh, geez. I guess you missed a lot of videos. That's probably why. Yeah, I'm back in Korea. I have gone back and forth a lot. Thanks for following, Arashi. Yes, BTS used African dance in Idol. Yeah, but a lot of people didn't want to accept that. So also he didn't. Michael Jackson is my oppa. No, I have to go now. Be right back. Oh, not be right. Talk to you later. Oh, bye, Shedding Live. Pound. Hello, pal. Hello, pal. Hello, pal. What is that? Hello, pal. I think it'll probably be the same. That'll probably be the same concept as Hello Talk, not probably not the best. I don't know. I feel like all apps are the same. That's why I don't really do applications no more. I don't really care for them too much. Hui. And I have finally caught up with everything behind like always. And an hour and 24 minutes have passed. Huh. So then, well then, I guess that's it for today then. Wait. Oh, I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. Wait. Oh, wait. At the end, I finally caught up. Wait. When you taught your students, only English was used, but how about when you were learning Korean abroad, was only Korean used then? Yeah, only Korean was used. Actually, my teachers didn't really know English. My Japanese teachers didn't really know English either. Ending already. Well, if there's no, well, it's ending already. It's been like an hour and 30 minutes. If there's no more questions, then of course. I've been doing like one live stream a week anyway, so I feel like if there's not any more questions or anything like that, then there'll probably be some next time. But generally, yeah, it's the same. The person that you're learning the language from, they only know that language. Oh, except for in America. If you're in America, when I was learning the language, then yeah, there was some. Did my teacher talk in English? She did talk in English in class sometimes, but in Japan, only one of my teachers talked in English, and that's because I think he was trying to get his own English ability out there too. But he was funny. He was amazing actually. He was the comedian. But besides that, everybody only talked in Japanese. And when I was in Korea, everybody only talked in Korean. So if you didn't know something, they would explain to you in Korean or in Japanese. And obviously, you probably didn't know that to begin with. So it wasn't helpful at times, but it's best to keep that going anyway, I guess. At first I didn't understand. I'm like, if I don't understand, why are you still talking to me in the same language? Because I didn't understand it before. So if you give me an explanation of the same thing in Japanese or in Korean, like I'm not gonna understand because I didn't understand before. But thinking about it after, like, yeah, that's just the best thing, because the one thing that you probably don't get that much of is a lot of talking. So if you can get that in class, like if you do come abroad to study, I would really advise, because it's probably very hard to actually be able to meet people outside of class, that you try to talk as much as you can in class, even if it's wrong. Just try, because you probably won't be able to get that outside of class, and you're paying a lot of money to come stay abroad anyway, so you should get the best out of that classroom, and maybe even seeing your teacher a lot, because I mean you did pay for it, so go see your teacher a lot and just try to talk to them and build friendship, maybe not friendships, but just somebody that you can talk to about the language is probably the best thing I would advise. Yeah, because the likelihood of you meeting people outside can be very difficult. So if you do come abroad to teach, then take advantage of that. If you come abroad to work, and if you're not working for an English company, then I would do your best to probably try to study the language on the side and to try to use it as much as you can at work, because those people are probably not trying to talk to you in English anyway, or they probably don't know English if it's a job that's outside of an English teaching job. So that'd probably be your best bet. always just, if you have something where you're not teaching, then and you really want to learn the language, because there's people that don't care to learn the language. Just do your best to use it as much as you can with the people that you can use it with, is what I would advise. Um, I feel like if I started working, I'd probably use Korean a lot more. Um, but since I'm not really working right now, the only thing I'm doing is just studying. And I don't really communicate with the housemates. Well, more, they don't really communicate. So because of that, yeah, my little bit of Korean practice is probably going to the store, and I never really say anything to her. The last thing I said the last time I went is just because our price had changed and I didn't realize it had changed. And I was just like, why is it not 1,500 won? And she was just like, it's 2,001 today. I'm like, why? And then I went to go check, and I was like, oh, okay. But like, I don't know. If you really want to learn languages, anytime you can, try to use it. Like I said, you're probably already paying for it, or you're probably going to work around people that can use it. So just do your best with the kind of situation that you're put into. Dancing leaf ending already. But yes, I don't know. If I come up with the next topic by next weekend, then well, because I don't have anything next weekend, right? When is that thing? Is that on Saturday? And I usually just on Sunday. Yeah. So if not, then maybe we'll do another live stream next weekend too. If I can think of a topic, my next topic. Do you think it would be easier for you to learn Korean or Japanese if you didn't tell the locals you're American? Like maybe they would stop trying to talk to you in English. Locals don't talk to okay, wait, that's a lot. Do you think it would be easier for you to learn Korean or Japanese if you didn't tell the locals you're American? Um, Nobody really assumes I'm from America. They usually assume I'm from Africa. Um, so that's not really a problem. Um, and I want to say that people probably don't. There was also the other guy. Like there was the same day that I said the thing about the lady when I was asking her about the change in price. There was a guy that I met that he didn't have 51. Like there's like a 51 coin, and he had 51 coin. And okay, so whatever I ordered was like 3,951. And then in his system, I gave him 10,001. And then in his system, he put that I gave him 11,001. And I was confused because I'm like, why did he put 11,001? And then he took out like a calculator, and then he was like keisanin, which is calculating. And I was just like, wait, what is he doing? Like I didn't understand what was going on. And then he gave me 500 won back, and I'm just like, I should not receive 500 won. So I'm like, what happened here? And then like he was trying to, I guess, figure out in his head how he can tell me that he didn't have 51. So he was like looking at the paper, and he was just like, no. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, because he gave me 500. So he gave me 451 more than he was supposed to, pretty much. But he didn't know how he could say it. But it's funny because some people, they'll just, like, they don't care, and I'll just say it in their language or whatever. But he was trying to figure out how he could say it, and he didn't know. So he was circling his finger with the number, and then he was like pointing, and he was just like, no. And I was just like, no. Like, what does that mean? Like, and I was like, and then so what I did is like, I just calculated by myself. I was just like, hold up. I was just like, what is he trying to say? And I was like, why did he give me 500? And like, it wasn't adding up to me. I'm just like, and I was like, okay. And he's like, okay. And I was just like, but yeah, he gave me like 450 yen more, won more, because he only had 50. But there's people that they won't care, like they'll just talk to you in a language, and then there's those that they just don't know the language, and they really want to maybe help you, but like they didn't know how. And maybe he thought like I would think that he was trying to steal from me or something. So I don't know, but I understood after. And I was gonna reply to him with something in Korean so that he knows, like, just next time, just talk to me in Korean. But I was like, whatever, and then I just left. But yeah, that was like the same day of the lady that I just talked to in Korean, and then the guy that just like he doesn't know Korean, so let me try to break it down with some English. No, no, yes. And I was just like, what? But yeah. And then if you didn't tell the locals like, yeah, so yeah, they don't think I'm American. Everybody thinks I'm from Africa, no matter where I go. Like maybe they would start trying to talk English to you, but yeah, people don't generally use English. In Japan, everybody uses Japanese when they see you. I never the incident that I described before with the guy, I've never had that incident happen to me. Everybody talks to me in Japanese. Yes, I never had that incident that he had. There's a lot of actually videos. Actually, oh my god, a lot of actually videos, a lot of actual, lot, whatever. Skip actually, actual. A lot of videos on like that about people going to. I mean, maybe you guys know that famous. I feel like I brought this up before. That famous one with like this like white guy, black guy, and different people from different places, and then one lady from like China or something like that, and then there's like a Japanese waitress and everybody else is talking in Japanese, but then she's only looking at the Chinese lady like and then responded to only the Chinese lady or what was she Chinese? I don't even know. Well, the Asian person and like that kind of thing. And it's just I don't know. That kind of scenario that hasn't happened to me. Um yeah, it's never happened to me. So I guess I've been lucky. It's either I knew the language or I didn't. So I never had that happen to me. No. But nobody ever tries to talk to me in English unless there's somebody that you're supposed to be doing like language exchange, and it's never language exchange. It's always like you're gonna teach me English, and I'm not gonna teach you the other language kind of thing. So yeah. Hmm. Mm, thank you for taking your time out to talk about. Oh no, but I actually I like talking to you guys. I do I like when you guys have questions and stuff. It makes it a lot easier for the live streams to run. And I did say some time ago I'll probably try to do one a week, but then I don't know. We'll see if I can keep up thinking of stuff. I was going to do like some like Twitch singing too again, but like then my Twitch got like I can't open my Twitch anymore or something. That's a big mess, and Twitch support is not really supportive. So I don't know. And I do gaming and stuff. So yeah, it's like a lot of stuff. We'll see. I feel like a poor man. It was funny. I laughed. But I swear one time I met him, he talked to me. Oh well, no. I just said "안녕히계세요," and he said "안녕히계세요." That was it, huh? So maybe yeah. I guess. Um, my favorite things to do recently is making my Japanese friends say English tongue twisters to improve. That doesn't improve your English tongue twisters. English speakers can't even do tongue twisters, so that's not going to help you at all. But I did have Japanese friends at one time when I was in university trying to make me do Japanese tongue twisters, and it was so annoying. I can't even remember it. Uh, yeah, I can't remember it. It was so similar. And it's like, say it fast, say it fast. I'm like, huh. I did get one after one. I did get one over time, and they were like, "Oh, so good," but that was only the rest I didn't get. Yeah, I play games with you. What? She said this. Is that like your version of what is the seashore? She says by the seashore. I, I know, sometimes I don't even know why those are supposed to be difficult because they're not. But yes, let me end and start cooking. It's like 2 o'clock, huh? Yeah. So yes, we'll see. I'll try to think of if I have another topic for next week and come back. My school's officially over and now I can play the I do play games. I don't know. I was you trying to I see what you guys are doing. Let me see. I do play games and I was doing it on I was gonna do it on one channel that was set for like YouTube, but then I thought like I already have the Twitch one active, so I might as well continue on Twitch. But then, like I said, my Twitch is like messed up right now or something, and Twitch support is not really helping with that. So it was like I would have to, I guess, make a new account or something. So I don't know. I don't know if I really want to make a new account or not. I can't even use my same name. That would mean that my visually Greg name is taken because by me, but I can't get into my account. So, uh, why Twitch? Why? Uh, but yeah, I'll try to see what we can talk about next week if we do one next week. Probably be the same thing, something like CUNY sudden. But yes, thanks for stopping by. And thank you. Did I call you Shannon before? Now I feel like I called you Shannon before. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Maybe Twitch is mad at me, so they're not responding, but hopefully they do. If not, I don't know. I can't even use my same name, so I would have to change. Oh, that would suck. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yes, I will see you guys. Bye bye.